Hi there, my name is Christie Merrick and I'm with Merrick Real Estate Partners. My husband Dave and I are real estate agents with Chapman Hall Realty in northern metro Atlanta, Georgia. And today I wanted to talk to you about the due diligence period. The due diligence period is a provision in the purchase and sale agreement that is misunderstood by a lot of people. So I wanted to just go into a little more detail and explain what that's all about and what you can and should do during this process. The due diligence period is item number 8 in the purchase and sale agreement. I have one here to refer to so I don't misquote anything. And it says, property is being sold subject to a due diligence period of blank days from the binding agreement date. Now typically, hello kitty. Sorry, the cat decided to jump in my lap. Anyway, typically the due diligence period is anywhere from 10 to 14 days from the date of your binding agreement. So let me tell you a few things that you definitely want to do during this period. And the first thing you want to do is hire a home inspector and have an inspection done. Now the home inspection in Georgia will run you typically between $300 and $400 just depending on the square footage of the property. And the home inspector will go through the property. He will check the HVAC system, he'll check the electrical system and the plumbing, he'll check the roof, the attic, the floors, the windows and the doors, the foundation, basement, the crawl space, and the structural components, looking for defects in the home that need to be remedied. When he's finished with his inspection, he will give you a report detailing all of the things that are outstanding, things that he thinks need to be addressed. Or he'll tell you that the home is in great condition and there's nothing that needs to be addressed. And wouldn't that be fantastic? So anyway, once you receive this inspection report, you'll work with your agent to draw up an amendment which outlines the repairs that you are asking the seller to do. And the seller and the buyer will go, back and forth negotiating these repairs. Hopefully the seller will be compliant and will do a lot of the repairs that you request. And that would be great. But sometimes, some things are really expensive or there are some things that the seller just doesn't want to address. And at that point, you have a decision to make. The point of this due diligence period is to give you the opportunity to get out of this contract if the home does not meet your needs. So if you cannot come to an agreement and you feel that you don't want to purchase this home under the condition that it's in and the seller is refusing to make some repairs, then you have the opportunity to get out of the contract without losing your earnest money. That can only be done during this due diligence period, but you do have that option if you want it. Another inspection that you're going to want to do, because we live in Georgia, is a termite inspection. Georgia is notorious for termites. We have them everywhere and no home is immune. So it costs about $100 to get a termite inspection done, but it is definitely well worth your money. There are some additional things that I want you to consider inspecting during the due diligence period. And I'm actually going to read this paragraph to you directly out of the purchase and sale agreement. So this is in item number 8B. And it says, duty to inspect neighborhood. In every neighborhood there are conditions which different buyers may find objectionable. Buyer shall have sole duty to become familiar with neighborhood conditions that could affect the property, such as landfills, quarries, power lines, airports, cemeteries, prisons, stadiums, odor and noise producing activities, crime and school, land use, government and transportation maps and plans. It shall be buyer's sole duty to become familiar with neighborhood conditions of concern to the buyer. So this is something that not a lot of people think about. You think you know everything about the neighborhood, but do you really? So take the opportunity during this due diligence period to learn everything that you can that's important to you. I'll give you an example. The neighborhood that we live in is actually very close to a chicken rendering plant or a protein rendering plant. And that plant produces some odors sometimes. Now, we were aware of it when we moved into this home because we already knew the area quite well and we knew the risk. We knew that there was going to be some odor from the plant. It didn't bother us because it's not that frequent. But a lot of our neighbors, when they moved in, by the way, this was a new construction neighborhood, so a lot of our neighbors did not do their due diligence and did not know about this plant. And apparently when they were looking at the home, you know, it wasn't in operation or there wasn't any smell, so, you know, they weren't aware of it. And a few months later when they moved in and all of a sudden they had these smells coming in that were a little bit unpleasant, they were upset and they wanted to go back to the builder and say, hey, you should have told us about this. Well, the plant is not within the limits where the builder was required to tell anybody about this, so it fell under the buyer's due diligence to discover that fact. And unfortunately, many of them did not, and some of them were very unhappy about it. So that's just something, an example that I wanted to make you aware of, that it is the buyer's responsibility during this period to find out everything they can about the neighborhood and anything that might be objectionable to you. Just keep that in mind and make sure you do that. In this age of Google Maps, you know, there's really no reason that you can't find out these things. You can very easily look at a satellite of the area, see what's around. If something looks suspicious to you, find out what that is and make sure that it's something that you can live with. So again, during this due diligence period, it's about 10 to 14 days. You get to choose the time period, but probably no longer than 14 days. But that's your opportunity to do your inspections, and if you are unhappy with the home, you do have the right to get out of the contract and to get your earnest money back. Hopefully that won't happen. Hopefully you'll fall in love with the home even more and you'll be so excited and ready to move on and move in and everything will be great, and honestly that is the case most of the time. But we just wanted to explain this procedure to you. Hopefully it gave you a little bit more information and will be helpful to you in your buying process. Thank you so much for watching. My contact information and Dave's is in the description box below. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. We would love to help you. Again, we work in the northern metro Atlanta area, and we would love to help you with your next home sale or purchase. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.